Hey, you there. Yeah, over here. They've not bitten you, have they? Okay, good. Come on in, grab a weapon, and for God's sake, keep quiet. We don't want to draw attention to ourselves. Ever since Dead Island 2 was released in April 2023, fans have been clamouring for a DLC for the game, desperate to see more of Hell A and the zombie apocalypse that has beset it. Well, the good news is that Dambuster Studios and Deep Silver have heard your pleas, and a brand new DLC is on its way.
What do you mean it's already here? Haven't even finished setting up the buffet.
Right, well, I suppose I better tell you all about it then, hadn't I? Before we get into it though, we'd like to take a moment to thank Dead Island 2 for sponsoring this video. Dead Island 2 Haus is available now from all good retailers, but before you dash out and purchase it, let us beguile you with tales of all it has to offer. Then dash out and purchase it. I'm Peter from TripleJump, and here are 10 things you need to know about Dead Island 2 Haus. Number 10. I haven't played the base game yet. Can you give me a quick rundown? It would be my pleasure. Dead Island 2 takes place roughly 15 years after the events of Dead Island, by which time a zombie outbreak has erupted in the city of Los Angeles. In order to prevent the infection from spreading to the rest of the United States, the US military places the city under quarantine, preventing anyone from getting in or out. The game begins with the player character, one of 6 Slayers, boarding one of the last flights out of LA. Unfortunately though, in all of the chaos, an infected member of the public ends up on board, and the plane is shot down. The Slayer survives, but is unfortunately trapped in Hell A, and must team up with other survivors in order to make it out alive. Over the course of the game, players must guide their Slayer around the city, helping the survivors they come across, all whilst fending off the bloodthirsty zombie horde. There are 10 different zones to explore, all with a wide variety of threats and rewards, and if you're feeling lonely, you can always wander the streets of Hell A with a couple of friends, as Dead Island 2 supports 3-player co-op. I mean, you wouldn't want to be all on your own in a zombie apocalypse, after all. Number 9. Where is Dead Island 2 Haus set? The base Dead Island 2 game takes place in Los Angeles, California, and Haus is no different. However, rather than wandering the entire city, players will get to explore a mysterious villa in Malibu, a beach city in the Santa Monica Mountains. If you thought that Hell A was a visual feast, then wait until you see the villa. Run by the cult, who we'll come to in a short while, each room in the villa is a completely surreal experience. For example, one area has been designed to look like a creepy cul-de-sac, whilst another looks like a spooky forest you might find in a fairy tale. Dead Island 2's visuals and artwork were already absolutely stunning, and the developers have arguably improved upon the base game's graphics in Haus. Whether you're exploring the sleek but ominous entrance hall or Long Piglet's diner, you're sure to be wowed by the top-notch presentation, gorgeous artwork, and overall creepy atmosphere. And if you're scare-averse, not to worry, because even though the setting of Haus is a little spooky, the trademark Dead Island humour is present throughout the DLC. So even if you are pooping yourself in fright one minute, you'll be peeing yourself with laughter the next. I certainly hope you brought plenty of fresh trousers. Number 8. What's the story about? Naturally, we don't want to go into too much detail here. After all, we'd hate to spoil the DLC for you before you've even had the chance to play it, but we are happy to give you a brief overview. As though the world of Dead Island 2 isn't already chaotic enough, now players must descend into debauchery, madness, and gore as they explore the sinister world of the cult, a group of fanatics who believe that they have the answer to humanity's survival. Rub elbows with members of the elite and hack down zombies that look like runway models, all whilst your morality is put to the test throughout the brand new story, which centres on the lavish and potentially unhinged cult. Has their leader, Conrad, really seen the future? Or is she just leading a bunch of weirdos in skin-tight latex outfits? Man, I wonder if I'd look good in one of those. As I said, we don't want to give too much away, but trust us when we say that the standard of writing has been carried over from the base game, and you'll get to meet tons of quirky, sometimes goofy characters whose silly one-liners will have you in stitches throughout. Number 7. Who's the star of the show? As we mentioned earlier, players get to choose from one of 6 Slayers at the beginning of the base game, and they are back for the DLC. The first of the 6 is Amy, a Paralympian who regains stamina when she hits a zombie with a weapon throw, and gets a damage boost when attacking isolated zombies. Next is Bruno, a hustler who gets a damage boost when attacking zombies from behind, and a boost to his agility and heavy attack charges when he avoids attacks by blocking or dodging. Motorcycle stunt woman Carla is our third Slayer, and she gets a toughness boost when at low health, and a boost to her damage when close to several zombies. Roller derby queen Danny is next, and this heavily tattooed miss gets health recovery when killing several zombies in quick succession, as well as heavy attacks that trigger a forceful explosion. Our 5th Slayer is Londoner Jacob, who receives a damage boost when attacking zombies in quick succession, and bonus critical damage when his stamina is low. Last but not least is Ryan, a stripper who regains health whenever he knocks down a zombie, and gets a little force boost when he blocks or dodges. And I think that's everyone. Number 6. What about enemies? Well, I sure hope you like zombies, because whether you're playing the base game or the Haus DLC, you're going to be fighting a lot of them, as I'm sure you know. Of course, there are your standard zombies, the sort that shamble about in hordes and don't really seem to have any direction in life, or rather undeath, but will easily tear you limb from limb if they catch hold of you. Then there are the special zombies, like the Butcher, who has mutated in such a way that its arm bones have become protruding from its hands, effectively giving it a set of razor-sharp bone knives. Or there's the Screamer, whose lungs are able to create a huge shockwave that pushes the Slayer back, making it almost impossible to get close to them. In Haus, players will encounter many different types of zombies, though most will be more sartorial than those roaming the streets of LA. After all, Malibu is home to the richest of the rich, and even if you're not exactly breathing anymore, you've still got to look your best, am I right? Additionally, there are 2 new boss fights, though we won't spoil either of those. What we will say is that one of them had us very much fearing for our own bacon. You'll understand what I mean when you get there. Number 5. You mentioned a cult. Who are they? No, not cult, silly. Cult, with a K. There's a big difference. The cult is at the centre of the Haus DLC. Inhabiting a stylish and strange villa atop a cliff by the sea, the cult believe they hold the key to humanity's survival. When players step into the villa, they enter a haunted house like no other. Led by billionaire Conrad, the cult has long been aware of the impending apocalypse, and as such, they've been preparing for its arrival for years. Whilst testing her own technology on herself, Conrad was shown a vision of a gore-splattered future and a possible way to survive it, and in response, she built Haus, an experiment that goes a little too far outside the bounds of moral acceptance, but all for the benefit of mankind, you understand. Does the cult really know what's what, or have they all been drinking a little bit too much of the Kool-Aid? It's up to players to navigate their twisted ideology and decide whether to embrace their vision despite its downsides and fight for their cause. Still, one thing's for certain, there's nowhere else in LA that's quite as sinister and debaucherous as the House of the Cult. Well, maybe except for Disneyland when they run out of Mickey bars, but it's a pretty close run race. Number 4. Tell me about the gameplay. Gladly. As you might expect from a DLC, the gameplay in Haus is more or less the same as in the base game. Players start out by choosing one of the 6 Slayers, each of which has their own unique abilities and playstyles as mentioned before, and from there they must head out into the world and slay some mother-flipping zombies using a variety of weapons. Unlike traditional RPGs though, which tend to use a skill tree to allow players to augment their characters, Dead Island 2 uses a deck building system. As players make their way through the game, they'll pick up various cards, each of which offer different perks. The skill deck is split into 4 categories: Abilities, Survivor, Slayer, and Newman, with each altering a different aspect of the character. Players can also equip autophage cards, which offer massive bonuses, but also come with a debuff that will weaken the character. The great news is that Dead Island 2 House comes with 8 new cards to add to your deck, so players can do even more to tailor their character to their preferred playstyle. But anyway, enough about all that. I imagine when you asked about gameplay, most of you were wanting to hear about all the different ways you can kill zombies. So, number 3. I hear the Dead Island series is famous for its weird and wonderful variety of weapons. Can I kill zombies with a meat tenderizer? Yes, you can. Whether you prefer keeping zombies at a distance and picking them off with a rifle, blasting them full of lead with a trusty shotgun, or beating them around the head with something a little less, conventional, then Dead Island 2 has you covered. If the dozens and dozens of weapons available in the base game aren't enough for you though, you'll be pleased to hear that Haus is bringing even more zombie-slaying tools to the table. If you like shooting zombies in their stupid faces but are smart enough to know that guns make loud noises and zombies love loud noises like Ashton loves Sour Patch Kids, and for those of you who don't know Ashton, that's a lot, then you'll get on very well with the K-Rosbow. Or crossbow, I guess. This unassuming bolt flinger combines precision and explosions into one lethal cocktail, allowing you to stay a safe distance whilst zombie heads are obliterated several yards away. More of a melee queen? Then you're gonna love the Hog Roaster, a blowtorch-equipped cleaver that allows you to barbecue zombies as you fillet them. Now that's what I call efficiency. Don't eat barbecued zombies though. Not for safety reasons or anything, I just hear it's rather gamey. Number 2. I'm ready to kick some zombie arse. When and where can I get a copy of Dead Island 2 House? That's the spirit. The great news is that Dead Island 2 House is available right now, having launched on November 2nd, 2023, from pretty much any reputable place that you can buy video games. Like the base game, House can be played on Xbox One and Series, PS4 and 5, and PC, but naturally you will need a copy of Dead Island 2 before you can play it. In case you were wondering, Dead Island 2's excellent co-op mode is still present in House, meaning up to 3 players can get together to enjoy all of the debaucherous zombie-slaying fun. If you'd rather play alone though, after all, it's people that got us into this zombie mess, then you can of course do that too in single-player mode. With around 3 hours of content to get stuck into, Dead Island 2 House is the perfect way to spend an afternoon. You know, as long as your perfect afternoon would consist of beating the undead to actual death with a variety of blunt instruments. I certainly know that I can't think of anything better. And number 1, and when I'm done with House, what else is coming from Dead Island 2? Whoa! Slow down there, Tiger. Don't you want to finish the House DLC before you start thinking about something else? Oh, alright. Jeez, put the shotgun down. I'll give you the scoop. Calm down. My god. If you just can't get enough of Dead Island 2, then you'll be happy to hear that a second DLC has also been announced, and it couldn't be less like House if it tried. Solar Festival, which is due to hit PCs and consoles in the second quarter of 2024, turns its attention away from wealthy cultists and instead focuses on the inhabitants of LA with a more hippie sort of vibe. Very few details have been released about that DLC at present though, so you'll have to keep an eye on Twitter and Instagram at Dead Island Game if you want to find out more about how you can greenwash your way to saving the planet. Don't worry though, House has plenty of zombies for you to be slaying whilst you wait for more news. Plus, you'll be able to get out all of your worst impulses before you have to head off and pretend to care about the planet. Right, if you'll excuse me, I've got some tight latex to slip into. James, break out the butter.